check out the hook while Bobby revolves it.
Ah, Richard Cheese. Saw him live. It's amazing. Live at Webster Hall. Questyle CMA800P. Now, I did the CMA600i headphone amp, and that made sense. It made sense how much it costs. It made sense that I should review it. It made sense because that should be a lot of people's, you know, that's it. You're done with all this stuff, and you just want, boom. So what the hell is this, the 800P? They said, I'll send you the 800P. You know, now we got this one back. I went, all right. Thought it was, for a second, the other headphone amp, the bigger one. No, it's their preamp. What's a preamp? What make preamp go, Zeos? This. Shit sis. That's a preamp. I'll hold this to describe it. Actually, this is an advanced preamp because it can switch from one or the other. In, out, or reversible if you want it to be crazy. You do out, out, in. And it's got a little volume knob, and that's it. Making a preamp is essentially volume knob and some sort of switching. So this is not the cheapest one I have. I have a $13 one of these somewhere. The other one that I have that everyone is so pissy that it's disappeared and you would all pay thousands of dollars to touch it again is the Emotiva Control Freak, which is just literally 2 of these are in, 2 of them are out, and a knob. Now that one's passive, this one's passive, which means it's just signal, and you can make the signal less or signal. Move that there. We get into the active preamps that I have. The Go Rack, which I bought the first one for $99, then they dropped to $30, then I bought 2 more, then they went back up to like $1 million because everyone realized how goddamn useful they are. And this is a powered preamp where you feed it signal in, either through XLR or if you get the 1/4-inch adapters, you can do RCA. And you could switch, make it a line. It has options, and you output XLR, and you could buy adapters to make this also RCA. And you power it, and you've got a digital volume control, balance controls, and you got all sorts of compressors and subsynths and everything else. It's great. So now, this is over $1,000, and I'm going to say that as the price because they didn't tell me when they emailed me how much it cost. I don't want to ask them because as a person, I should be able to find out on the web. And the web, the closest I could find to a price is Australia has an actual price on a website. They want 3,700 Australian dollars, which if you know nothing about the Australian market, actually turns out my second largest demographic other than the United States is them Aussies. You Aussies is watching, and you Aussies get fucked every time. Every time someone from Australia asks me for help, I go to an Australian website looking for stuff, and I just get nauseous and I feel bad. I feel bad. You guys just get the shortest end of the stick, but you've got sandy beaches, and that's how it usually works. So I'm thinking somewhere between $1,200 and $1,400 is the actual cost of this. And let's look at it. Can I do this without disconnecting and breaking everything? Stereo input, stereo output, power switch. XLR in, RCA in, XLR out, RCA out, the end. That is the end of that. Now, right now I'm currently feeding it with a Magni multi-bit because it's here and it sounds, I trust it, alright? I may not believe in the multi-bit experience, but if you can get one, use it. Use it as a good source. It's as good a source as probably anyone ever needs. So you know what a preamp does. You switch inputs, which this will do, from either balanced or unbalanced. I currently have it unbalanced. It's got the best blue LEDs because I fucking love blue LEDs in all my stuff. If you don't know, I've actually added blue LEDs to everything. They're just battery powered. It's great. Got the same volume knob as the CMA800P, where you can't see the indicator. It's there. It's there. It's in there. It's that little bit of dirt is the indicator. And they use the same knob here. So there's an indicator here, even though it doesn't matter because this will spin infinitely. switching between mute, balanced, and unbalanced. The 5 LEDs, I might as well just describe the unit. There's the back, it's a box. Input knob, volume knob, power indicator, so when you set off the power in the back, that goes away. The far right is work, which I've never seen a work light. I've seen a work light, but I've never seen a light that says work. That just indicates everything is now functioning and it should be working. And then you get to switch between unbalanced input, which I'm using, mute, or balanced input. You can go left and right or all the way around and listen. I wasn't gonna, they don't come with a Lexan top, which is unfortunate because everything Questyle makes is beautiful on the inside. It's all beautiful on the inside. Those relays are just going, do things. And I had to take the cover off of this because there are these 4 switches, and don't touch things like that when it's running. I'm a professional, sort of. These 4 switches are high and low gain. So it is said to be a headphone preamp, and I'm using it right now as a speaker preamp. Here's the Crown 1502. I could have just put the XLRs into the stacks over here, the 353X. There's a million ways I could have used this because it's a very simple device. I've got a ton of them hanging around because they're useful. Preamps are useful. You need to control the volume. This, oh, you know what, we're never putting that cover back on again because it's too pretty on the inside. This 1502 is a power amp, essentially. These knobs are not designed to be used as volume controls. You set them based on how loud you ever want something to get, and then you're supposed to use a preamp or an equalizer or a mixer, something else to control the volume. So this is set up right now and running. This is playing. So there's our source. Source comes out, goes into this RCA. This does, see, now here's the question. Well, isn't this stupid, Zeos? Because isn't that the source and you just want to get this to this as clean as possible? And wouldn't plugging it directly in be the way to do that? Yes. Yes, it is. This is just a thing in the way. The thing in the way, though, is controlling the volume. Now, you could plug right from the multi-bit into an amp, into that amp, into a headphone amp, into something else, and then just either fiddle with the knobs up here or limit your source. Foobar has a volume knob. Everything's got a volume knob. You can lower this. The problem with lowering something digitally, and a lot of people don't know this, when you have something like this and it's like, all right, Foobar, make the analog outputs of this quieter. It's not lowering the voltage that's coming out of this. Like with something like this, where it's just a knob. This is literally holding back voltage. That's how it makes it quieter. That's how the sys here makes it quieter. This does the same thing digitally. It's telling it to output, you know, instead of 2.25 volts or 6 volts, depending on what you're outputting, less and less and less. When you lower something digitally through Foobar, that isn't telling this multi-bit to actually output less voltage. The voltage is constant. It's outputting less signal. So what it's doing is taking the pretty waveform and it's crushing that down and down and down by removing bits. So when you have 16-bit audio and you lower it here on Foobar, that goes from 16-bit to 15-bit to 14-bit to where it's like, hey, there's less space. So if you have your Foobar volume real low, then you crank your amplifier, that's worse than if you raised your Foobar volume and lowered your amplifier. You want to have full bits out. Now, if you have a high enough bit rate, 24-bit, 32-bit DAC, then it doesn't matter. Because when you go from a 24-bit output and you're lowering it to 22, 20 bits. 20 bits is still plenty. You're never going to hear a difference. So when you go from a 16-bit source and bring that down, that's the problem. Now that we've discussed that, what is this doing? Well, an active preamp can take the signal you're getting, make it higher than it could have ever been through a passive, and then feeding it out. That's what the high-low gain is for. Now I have it set to low, and I think I like the way that works best with this, because this you set, you know, what's the maximum, and then you have to adjust. And it's still, I will tell you this, the Questyle here at the very last 2 notches gets exponentially louder. So it's like, I'm 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, loud, looks like it's got a motor. It's an Alps pot. It has a motor, it's just not hooked up. And you see that? That's a missed opportunity for Questyle. Because, yes, you could use it as your headphone preamp, but people who are crazy and have money like speakers too. And it would work. I don't understand that it does it where there's 600p. You have a remote to literally adjust the volume on that as a preamp. So this being a dedicated preamp, all I need to do is put a motor controller on that, and it would turn the volume knob for you. Which on a speaker, you can't use this for. You could use it for speakers here on a desk. That's fine. Quit blocking my beautiful tweeters. There we go. Put that on the floor. All right, what does this claim? Let me go to the website. Let me show you. Let me read the claims about. Oh my God, there's so many. Apparently, it was co-designed with stacks to be used with the SR009 system, and here's a picture of that. There's the amp. Even though stacks amps have volume knobs to put in line with their DAC and this thing and that, and apparently that's the best thing everyone ever heard. You know what? You read the claims. I'm not going to. I will read you the spec sheet that I found in the download. Because there's some interesting. High-low gain. High gain is 6 decibels. Low gain is 0. I'd honestly open this up. And here's the thing. It uses hex heads. And I have a magnet that I usually stick these sort of screws to so I don't lose them. And it wouldn't work because they're all stainless steel. Because Questyle. They might as well use stainless steel and silver wire for everything. What are we looking at? Max output 13 volts in balanced mode on high. That's a lot. These will output a lot. I should actually set this to low gain because it says wait till I get to the review on this. Total harmonic distortion plus noise. Because a volume knob, every volume knob is gonna introduce some problem. It's always gonna introduce. You're taking signal away. You're fucking with it. And passive ones like the Sys and this are going to do I'm going to say good enough because it's 98% of the United States and world population. That's good enough. The DBX might be a little bit cleaner because it's digital, maybe, because there'll be no channel imbalance because it's digital. This, total harmonic distortion plus noise in the volume knob, so how much it messes with the signal, is 0.00021% at 1 kilohertz in balanced mode, and 0.0023% in unbalanced mode. Filthy. Yeah, so it's actually pure class. So it's reamplifying. Remember you guys were freaking out when I reviewed the Burson Cable Plus? It was like $150 for a cable that had a little baby amplifier in it. This is over $1,000. It's the same thing, only you get a volume knob. Now this is Zeos knows when his audience cares, and most of you don't care about this. This is never going to be part of anything. This is beyond what I need, beyond what I believe you'll hear. But if you are a numbers guy, there's your numbers right there. Signal to noise ratio in fully balanced mode, 131 decibels from where your signal is going to be to the noise floor. What the hell is that? Ew. It looks beautiful. Let me tell you, I know for a fact it's the best preamp I have in the house right now. Would I ever buy one? Probably not. Will you ever buy one? How many views this video got right now? Right now, how many? If it's 20,000 views, which will probably be like a month in if it gets popular, 2 of you, 2 out of 20,000 might want one of these. So I'm going to give it a look. I'm going to go, it's warm, it's nice. You have to shut it off in the back, or you leave it on all the time. It's Class A. I would not leave this on all the time. I would take the time to click that off at night. All the things clicking. It is converting. You're giving it signal from either one of these. It converts it to both. I could actually have this output from the RCA or the XLR, and I could just have it run RCAs into this, and I could run XLR into that. And Jesus Christ, yes. All right? It is what it is, and they sent it to me, and I'm going to give you my review. It doesn't make your music sound like unicorns were birthed in your ear canals. Little unicorns just pitter-pattering around your brain. But it's a good volume control. It's a good manual, and that's the key, is it's a manual volume control. Actually, where's that paper? You know where this thing is really designed for? This is, remember I discussed in the review of the CM800-600? Here's the stack that they had. The reference gold edition. This will come, by the way, in gold and be even more insane. And it's one of these on top, which you use to control your volume. Then there's the DAC, and there's two of their higher end 800 amps that you run mono-blocked, so that this is, so yeah, this has basically been built, this and its bigger brother, the gold one, has been built to be put into a $12,000 stack for insane audiophiles. The old school definition of audiophile, not the modern one where it's just people who give a shit about sound. This is for people who give a shit about sound and don't know what a $1 bill looks like, or maybe a 5, or maybe 20s. I'd love to get to that point in my life where I don't even remember what a $20 bill looks like. Just passing out thousands. Oh, need that newspaper, here, keep the change, $1,000 bill. When I get to that point, we'll make some awesome videos, by the way. Support on Patreon. Support on Patreon so I can forget what 20s look like. Ones, we'll start with ones. So yeah, that's where this is born. This is born from the old school. Think about Game of Thrones, you know, the old ways, you know. This is the Children of the Forest type shit. This is not that Seven, the Light of the Seven. No. This is born in the Light of the Seven. These Light of the Seven. This is old world carving faces into trees type stuff. Did I get too nerdy just now? Too bad. Putting this back together, and it's quality as hell. That's my review. It is the most, if you need the most, this is the most quality as hell preamp. Wallpaper download in the description. Again, Patreon link in the corner. I don't want to have to buy these things. I will never use that for this. This has to be sent to me, and I can do ooh, and then I can send it back. But other things like normal things, that's what the Patreon helps. And I will have a wallpaper database for patrons, which is interesting. Thank you.